we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Fatso Radio. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Friday, April 23rd. Not April 23rd. April 23rd, everybody. How's it going this week and every week? Fatso Radio is brought to you by Volpe Martial Arts. VolpeMartialArts.com. Check them out, folks. KW's hottest, newest Kung Fu and Hapkido school. Sifu Adam Volpe, my brother, brings you lifelong passion, lifelong skills, and excitement and energy, and quite frankly, just love and family and community to your door, virtually to your door, actually, right now on your computer screen, because we are in lockdown right now. But check it out, VolpeMartialArts.com. Today, folks, what's going on? What's going on for spring? What's going on for exercise? How do you get started? What are we doing? What are we doing for food? What are we doing for exercise? What's the easiest thing to do? What's the best thing to do? How do we get going? I love you all. I love you all. Don't forget to like and share and comment and all that stuff. fatsoradio@gmail.com. I love you all. Lily, take it away. Fatso Radio. Oh, do you guys like my macatura? Everybody's watching on YouTube. That's it. Peace.
Fatso, the really good podcast show.
Fatso, our very first podcast show.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, welcome to Fatso Radio. How you doing? Episode number 116. That's right, folks. Another Friday. It is my pleasure to come to you, whether you're listening, whether you're viewing. Hello, hi, mom, hi, dad. Wherever you are, whether you're walking, whether you're in your car, whether you're on your bike, whether you're on your stand-up paddleboard, Mariana, I know you're listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I hope you're enjoying. It's another Friday. It's Friday, April 23rd. Excuse me. And it's my pleasure to come to you again. Fatso Radio, episode number 116. Folks, and again, tonight I want to talk to you just about my experience again, about what I do this time of year, this movement, this actions, what's going on, and it's spring, right? So the first thing that comes to mind when I think about spring is, what are my springtime activities? Excuse me. What are my springtime activities? What are my springtime exercises? But also with that, what kind of foods do I want to pair with that? What kind of foods are traditionally eaten in spring? So let's get into it. First thing I want to say is the springtime exercise, like any other exercise, with the ketogenic diet or with the carnivore diet, or any type of exercise at all, I really want to say. And you might even hear the birds in the background. It is springtime here, folks. But with any type of exercise or any type of new routine, I want to say, right? First of all, when people say take it easy, they really mean take it easy for a lot of reasons, and they may even mean it for the reasons that they don't mean. Or what I'm trying to say is that they might not even know why exactly they mean it, or there's another reason behind, or additional reasons for just saying take it easy. One of the reasons what I say for people to take it easy, and this kind of jumping ahead from where I want to get to, but one of the reasons that it's really hard to keep up. It's really hard to keep up something that is above you, what you can sustain. So that's the idea. I guess the idea is to aim for something that's sustainable, that you aim for something that you can maintain for a long time. And I just want to touch on that really quickly. But a lot of times people will either maybe get back to a former self or get back to something they used to do. But one thing I want to stress, especially with the springtime, because a lot of people want to get back in shape, want to get out there, do it. And I 100% suggest people to do it and encourage you to do it, but go slow. You'll say, like piano, bailandano. It's like, basically, it's like, if you go slow, the slow wins the race kind of thing. Or if you go slow, and you'll build off of that, and you'll have momentum, but you'll have a foundation. And that's the idea too with any exercise, especially in the springtime. I want to say that when you're getting up there, you have the idea that it's spring, let's get out there. And I 100%, let's do it. Let's get out there. I want to get out there with you and bike or walk or whatever the sporting activity is. But keep in mind that you want to do this for the whole spring. You want to do this for the whole spring and into summer and into fall and into winter, right? So the sustainability is the key word these days, right? But the sustainability of an exercise is something that matters. And how long can you sustain this for? Hopefully you can sustain it forever. So have that in mind when you plan out your routine. Can you go for a bike ride every single day? Maybe, right? Maybe you can't though. Maybe you can go for a bike ride every third day, right? Or 3 times a week, and you can maintain that, but you can do something else in between, or whatever the case may be, whether it's a walk. And that brings me to the next thing. Spring is the best time to walk. Summer's the best. Any time of the year is great. Winter's not the best time to walk, obviously, for me. There's a lot of snow, but it depends on where you are in the world. And shout out to everybody no matter where you are in the world, thank you again for listening. Thank you for watching, not watching. English is my first language, believe it or not, folks. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for emailing in and your likes and your shares and all that stuff. Just recently heard from a good old friend, good old friend, Vinny from back home. Thanks, Vinny. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And it shows that, it shows me it's cool that, hey, my old friends are listening. No matter where you are, whether you're in the Sioux, whether you're in Kitchener, Waterloo, whether you're in Tokyo, whether you're in Rome, or whether you're in Istanbul. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I want to get back into the walking. Walking is my favorite exercise. You can do it any time of the year. Springtime right now is a great time to walk. When I want to say when I lost all that weight, but what really helped me, I think, from an exercise standpoint, losing a bunch of weight. And again, just for a reminder, Fatso Radio, again, this is dedicated about showing you that I lost a lot of weight by eating a high-fat diet, by removing the sugar, lowering the sugar dramatically, eating a high-fat, high-protein diet a lot of times, and not a lot of exercise. But the exercise I did do was walking, and that was something I consistently did every single day. On the weekends, even when I wasn't, my Monday to Friday routine was my kind of my bread and butter. And I hate saying my bread and butter because I don't have bread and butter anymore. But my Monday to Friday was my jam. I don't even have jam anymore. Anyway. Sidetrack. Monday to Friday, folks. It was my lunch hour kind of walk. I went for that walk, whether it was 20 minutes or whether it was half an hour, whether it was, unfortunately, whether it was an hour sometimes. I kept that up on the weekends as well. Not as much sometimes on the weekend, or not, it wasn't maybe an hour on the weekends, maybe it was shorter, 15 minutes, or sometimes on the weekend it was even longer. But my point is that walking was really the key, the foundation, the anchor behind my weight loss, for a lot of reasons. It's a great exercise. It's a great exercise, and you may not think it's a great exercise. You may not think it's a great workout, but all that means to me is that you just haven't had the right walk, right? Or you haven't had the right course or the right roads, let me plan out your course for you, or let me plan out your, the hill that you're going to walk, or if you're maybe not walking long enough, you can walk 2 or 3 hours. Nothing wrong with that. If you have the time, right? It's a great thing to do. Walk up some hills, walk up and down some stairs. Walking's not boring when you're huffing and puffing. Yeah, it's exhausting. But it's just one of those things you can do, and you can do anywhere. You can do it with a pair of shoes, a pair of boots, a pair of sandals. You can do it barefoot. Barefoot's amazing if you have the opportunity. Or if that's all you have, it's amazing. It's amazing where you get to sometimes in life, or the conversation gets to sometimes in life, where it's like, oh, it's amazing. I have this great spot where I can just go barefoot walking. And some other people are thinking, oh, you can go barefoot. Great for you. I would love to have some shoes. But yes, walking is amazing. It's great because you can start out right at any pace at all. You can literally start out at needing a walker. Right? That's how we do it for kids, right? You have a walker, or if you're injured, you can do it with a crutch or a couple crutches or some sort of assistance. But then you can start out walking, and you can walk out really slow. You can walk a few steps, a few meters, a minute, you do whatever it takes, and then you go a little bit further or a little bit faster. That's the thing, is that you can walk 10 meters, turn around, walk 10 meters back. And it's easy for someone to say, well, that's not going to do much, or it's not going to do anything. Bullshit. It's not. It's going to do something, and it will do much. It depends on where you're starting from, and it depends on what you need it to do. Because for someone who runs a mile a day or 10 miles a day, sure, that's not going to do anything. But for someone who runs a mile a day, maybe that does do something for them in a different way, not in a performance value, as far as a gains value, right? Maybe it'll do some sort of meditative thing. But that's not even my point. My point is that it's all about where you're starting from, and it's all about this personal point of view and this personal perspective and this personal journey that we're on. I mean, if it's true that we're on this personal journey through a political perspective and a nutritional perspective, and the same through an exercise perspective as well. And I really do love walking. Excuse me a second here. Let me get a drink. I really do love walking because it's something that, like I said, you can make it hard. You can go for a long walk. You can go for a difficult walk. You can put a backpack full of, food, or a backpack, not food, I guess, but a backpack full of cans or something heavy, or take some children with you, or, you know, whatever, and you can make it hard. And it could be something that you can really do it anywhere. And springtime is a great time to do it, to get out there, to smell the flowers literally, and to get out and get some fresh air along, like I've been saying with everything else, you know, just being healthy and COVID and everything. It's get outside, get that fresh air. Walking is the best. The walking is the best for that, because hey, the longer you walk, in my opinion, the healthier it is. So if you're walking for an hour, great, with exception, of course, you're not going to walk 17 hours a day. But if you're walking for an hour a day, you're out there, you're getting some sun, you have some short sleeve shirt on, or you have some shorts on, or you have, you know, a hat or something, you're somewhere, you can get, somehow you want to get a little bit of sun on you. I'm not suggesting you have sun for hours and hours and hours at a time, but get some sun on you, cover up when you need to cover up, and walking outside is a great way to get that sun. And it's like, it's when you, when you're doing that, one of the things I want to say, keep in mind as well, is that when you're doing walking, especially if you're starting any new diet, or if you're starting any new routine, more so, I think when you're starting any new diet, is because your body really goes through a change. Remember, you're fueled. Every single ounce of food that you eat is the food. Is determinatory. It's determinary. It's, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, folks. I know what I'm trying to say. It determines what happens in your body. Use the correct word for it, but that's exactly what happens. The food you eat, of course it then dictates. Of course it then determines what happens inside your body, because it's the fuel. Your car will run an exact way based off its fuel. Right? We have cars that run basically off of one type of fuel. I mean, the variation changes between different retailer, I guess, or different gas station, but it's essentially the same fuel. It's a little bit different. But when you're running off of crappy fuel and your body knows it, your body does know it, right? And it's kind of the same thing with keto, when you're running off of higher octane fuel, which fat and ketones are, in my opinion, a higher octane fuel. They're higher. Well, they're higher energy fuel. You get more calories per gram of fat than you do of carbohydrate. So right there, from an energy balance, from an energy standpoint, it is higher energy. But even for more so than that, there's more bang for buck, because there's more energy. Maybe because there's more, not only because there's more energy, you're satisfied longer, but because your hormones are under balance, right? You are satisfied longer. You're not going to go through those spikes and all that stuff. But what I want to say about walking before I get too far is, and with any new exercise, especially new diet change, is don't forget to drink water. Don't forget to drink water and keep yourself hydrated regularly. I'm not one of those people that are going to suggest you drink 15,000 glasses of water a day, because I do firmly believe that you can overdo it. But what's just as important, if not, it's arguably more important than water. I'm not an expert on this. Oh, perfect time to remind everybody, I'm not an expert, guys. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a health coach. I'm not an expert in that sense. I'm not officially any of that stuff, but what I am, just kind of speaking from my heart, speaking from my own experience. But one of the things that I've learned, and from one of the things I've experienced, especially going keto and carnivore, I'll talk about water and salt, but any kind of diet, make sure you're hydrated. When your body's going through any sort of change, whether it's a hormonal change, or weather change, or whether it's day night cycle, whether you're going through a cold, or whether you're getting over some sort of illness or injury, water is a key factor. Water is always a key factor in your body, right? And being dehydrated slows things down. Being dehydrated will put you at a suboptimal level. That's just any time. So especially if you are trying to get in better shape, especially if you're trying to get things flowing well, get a lot of water. And not only water, I want to talk about is salt. Salt's important. Salt's got a bad rap. I really, really want to get the salt doctor on very soon. Not very soon, just anytime. So far I have no luck, but I'll try. Salt is very important for a couple things. It actually helps retain water. So it helps with dehydration. It does not make you dehydrated. It helps retain water. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily get dehydrated that easily if they're eating a lot of if they're eating a lot of processed foods. Maybe you'll have a lot of salt in it, but also maybe you're having a lot of fruit, maybe you're having a lot of fruit juices and other kind of beverages. So maybe water is not a problem. But if you are dehydrated, or if you are going through, like I said, a dietary change, or if you are ketogenic, or if you're going into ketosis, or if you're going even from a standard American diet to a ketogenic diet, or even a carnivore diet, you may experience that sort of dehydration that is normally occurred, and a lot of it has to do with salt, right? So like I was saying, the reason why it has to do with salt, or water and salt play a big part, is that it's not just the water. It is a salt that helps you keep that hydration intact, really. So salt's given a bad name a lot of times. It's going to get a bad rap, I guess, for a lot of years. But I do think it's important, especially with the ketogenic state. Yeah, that's what I was saying with the ketogenic state, is that it is important, because when you're going through that keto flu, or some people call it a keto flu, I really just think it's a sugar withdrawal and a little bit of dehydration. Water and salt are really important, right? So you need salt. Salt will help retain that water. And sugar kind of steals water from you, right? So you need water. You need a lot of water with that. And that's kind of what I want to say about the cold starting out there. Now, the risks of falling hard, again, I want to just touch on again, is that people, when they go hard, right, and then they fall off, or sorry, when they go hard at the beginning, not only do they fall off sometimes because, or do they stop their plan, or they kind of fall off the wagon, or whatever you want to call it, because it's hard and they go too hard, or sorry, they go too hard. Oftentimes it's because they can't maintain the kind of the craziness of the yo-yo that happens from a food perspective. So what I mean by that is, if you're eating the standard American diet, standard Canadian diet, standard Western diet, standard whatever industrialized crap, processed food, let's call it a processed food diet, right? Or an average processed food diet. If you are, then a lot of times you'll experience you'll experience this super, oh, sorry, before I get that. If you're following a standard American diet for a lot of times, oftentimes you may not have you might have the best blood sugar regulation. What I mean by that is that oftentimes, or sometimes, you may have hypoglycemia, or hypoglycemia is up and down, where your blood sugar is high and low. Sometimes that may result in needing sugar, right? And you feeling like lightheaded or whatever. That's not exactly what I'm talking about, but it's kind of related here. And what I mean by that is that if you're eating a standard American diet for a lot of people, and you work really, really hard, and you're not ketogenic adapted, this is what I'm getting at. For a lot of people who are kind of extreme if you're not keto adapted and you're eating that standard American diet, I don't know whether there's another term for that, but if you're not keto adapted and you're basically just a sugar burner, and you can't flip over to eat fat, or you can't flip over to burn fat very well, rather, that's when starting out that diet, or starting out that workout really, really hard, working hard for an hour, or working hard for an hour and a half, whatever, that's what really kills people, I think. And that's what killed me. And I've kind of dabbled back and forth, not into the diet rather, but just working out. And when I've had a little bit of sugar, or when I've kind of slipped off my diet, I think I've been able to kind of cross-reference a few points. And what I'm trying to get at is that when you're eating a crappy diet, or a diet that has a lot of carbohydrates, and you've done that for a long time, and you're not able to tap into the fat stores, first of all, you hit a wall, right? You hit a wall when you're working out. And if you don't hit that wall, you've either eaten a lot of carbohydrates beforehand. So you have the carbohydrates in your gut, in your blood, and then the carbohydrates in your liver, and the carbohydrates in your muscles. You may have enough. If you don't, that's where your body stores carbohydrates, right? Glycogen's in your liver. Glycogen is in your muscles. You have a little bit of blood in your sugar, or you have a little bit of sugar in your blood, rather, and then anything that's in your stomach, but that's not going to be used. So if you're working out, say you're working out for an hour, whatever it is, and you deplete that, you're either going to hit a wall. You're most likely going to hit a wall. And if you hit that wall, you're most likely going to feel like crap. But even if you do make it through your workout, and if you do make it through that exercise or whatever it is, your blood sugar is going to be so low. And oftentimes, and I can attest for me, so hungry, and you go through some crazy cravings, rather, and they're carb cravings, right? Now I know what's going on, but I didn't really realize what back then. But what's going on is you're so hungry, you just depleted all that fuel, that rocket fuel that's in you, because glycogen, right, is that stored sugar. That stored sugar in your body is rocket fuel. It's in your liver, it's in your muscles, and it's good, and you only have a little bit of it though. But after that's depleted, you feel like crap, and you need to replenish that. So if you're on a standard crappy diet and you hit that wall, or you've done your workout, man, I'm just so starving. You go home and you just eat anything in sight. And this has happened, I'm sure. Hey, write to me. Tell me, no, this has never happened to me, Fatso. You have no idea what you're talking about. You are the only person who's ever had a hard workout and then went home and binged on their whole fridge and cupboards. No, I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. I'm gonna get one email tomorrow, and it's gonna say you're right. Yeah, of course. You of course. Anyway, we'll see. But you're starving, right? And then what do? You eat whatever is in front of you. And if you happen to have a steak and with butter on it, great. But if you're not eating this, if you're not eating a ketogenic diet anyway, you're most likely not going to have that. You're going to have some crappy food, either maybe some super ultra refined carbohydrates or some chips or some whatever it is, or even if you have some protein shake or something, you're going to be hungry. You're going to need something. You're going to have some fruit. You're going to need something. You're going to need a lot. You're probably going to need a lot of food. But I find that that doesn't happen as much if you're ketogenically adapted, if you're keto adapted, if you're even a carnivore, of course. That's not going to happen because you're not starving like that after a workout. Like for me, I'm keto adapted now for a few years, or 5 years maybe now. And even when I go off of it, even when I don't eat high keto or carnivore, I don't lose my adaptability, I guess. So I don't lose that ability that I have, because now many reasons. I think because I've done it for a long time. I've lowered my body weight. My liver is probably in a healthier state, much healthier state. I mean, losing 100 pounds is definitely going to change that, but I don't have that state. And also when I'm done a workout, it's not like that. I don't have that same sort of craving that I have after a workout as I do with a carb craving. That just doesn't happen. And the reason why I think it means, or the reason why it makes sense in my mind, or I guess the explanation in my mind, is that because I'm already adapted. So during my workout, whether it's 40 minutes or whether it's half an hour, whether it's an hour, if I do have to tap into any of that glycogen, right? If I do have some glycolytic exercises, which is that stored glucose, remember, in my liver and my muscles, there's going to be some exercises where I do, of course, if I'm sprinting or if I'm jumping or whatever. Studies have shown that if I do have to tap into it, I will switch over to ketones very, very quickly. Athletes have shown that they switch over very quickly. But not only that, studies have shown that athletes don't even use the amount of glycogen that's expected for them to use, which would normally be considered glycolytic activities. So as to say, activities which would normally require that stored sugar, like a sprint or like a jump or something like that. Some studies have shown that a lot of athletes just it's not needed. They can still use their same stored fat, the ketones that have been freed up. So, and for me, I can kind of attest the idea where if I'm not going to be hungry, if I don't feel like that, maybe I'm just fine. Maybe I'm just kind of cruising over again. And that would explain to me the idea of exercising all day long and work and not eating, right? If you could do that if you're not keto adapted. You could do that if you're eating, if you're relying on sugar. But I think that you would be exhausted by the end of the day, or it would just be very hard on your body. You would just rely on like willpower. I don't know how it's done. You can only store so much glucose, so much glycogen, right, in your liver and your muscles. So there must be either be some performance hindering or something that happens with that. But I don't know. That's kind of what I want to get into again. With the springtime, folks, the exercise, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Again, another shout out to Vinny and everybody in the Sioux listening, everybody here in Kitchener and Waterloo or all over the world. Again, Italy, I have a flag behind me, a heart rather, of all these flags behind me. And a shout out to everybody there. Thank you so much for listening, wherever you are. I'm here in Canada, right above me here. And again, shout out to everybody else. Just to go along, I guess, before we wrap up today, with the food, I'm always going to suggest the same thing, folks, with exercise, keeping it simple. Just to wrap up again on the exercise before I get to the food. Exercise, keep it simple, keep it sustainable, keep it something that goes with the times. If you're looking to get outside, if you want to stay healthy, I suggest you stay outside, and I suggest you stay healthy. Go outside, get some fresh air, like I said, vitamin D, and then go with the food. Eat what's in season, eat what's local, talk to your local farmer, support your local farmer, your local rancher. Even if you're eating vegetables, if you're eating fruit, support your local farmer, your local vegetables. If you're in somewhere in the world that has fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, local animals, local, whatever, go support it all. And I support all the local farmers and everybody around here. And I commend them all, because it's tough. It's tough because it's, especially times like today where we're kind of, I don't want to say we're we're told to fear our neighbor, but it's almost like that, right? It's, the idea that we have to stay home has been drummed into us now for so long, and it sucks, and nobody likes it. And we need to get back out again, and we need to realize, and I think a lot of us do, most people I know realize, and most people I know remember and reminisce and miss the idea of going and seeing everybody on a regular basis. And this is a great reminder that our local farmers, spring is in the air, folks. It's in the air. Smell it. Smell that manure, smell it. That means that there's spreading going on, or whatever is going on. The people need that. And remember, this is a reminder for everybody: without manure, you can't grow anything. Without cows, without ruminant animals to produce the manure is fertilizer, natural fertilizer you need to grow anything you want to grow. Whether it's more cows because you need grass, you need cows. Whether it's more goats, you need grass. Whether it's apples, pears, bananas, or all the fruit, all the vegetables, folks. I'm going to get an episode in the future about vegetables themselves, and that word, and it's a funny word. But we need it. So support your local farmers, support your local ranchers, no matter where they are, support them, because without them, like, we got here, remember, just like our ancestors, we got here hunting and gathering. We got here today with the help of our local farmers, our local ranchers. So help them. I love you all. Peace. Happy Friday. What is it? Friday, April 23rd. I love you, everybody. Peace. Oh, don't forget, Volpe Radio. Fatso Radio is sponsored every day and always by Volpe Martial Arts. VolpeMartialArts.com. Folks, don't forget to check them out. KW's hottest, newest Kung Fu and Hapkido school. I love you all. Violet's going to say thanks to everybody, but I thank you all. Peace, and I love you all. Let's say bye to everybody. Bye. And we'll say thanks for listening. Say thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Fatso Radio, the really great podcast show.
Fatso Radio, the really great podcast show.
So get your butt and get in your chair.
Don't eat your nails and don't pull your hair.
We'll talk about chicken or talk about steak.
We'll talk about fat, for goodness sake.
Fatso, the really great podcast show.
Fatso, a very first podcast show.